Just going to check here, make sure my stream goes live. Hope everybody's having a good start to your day. Sorry I was gone all afternoon yesterday, but I was helping a friend pick up his Tesla. It took about 10, 11 hours worth of driving, but man, on FSD, it is not so bad. 3 out of 4 days with my mic not being muted. Very proud of myself right now. Very, very proud. Lots going on today, guys. Again, hold your kids tight tonight. We had Bitcoin. It's just had a rough couple of weeks, guys. So just keep things in perspective. Also, I'm losing my voice right at the start of the stream. A few other things going on that we should probably talk about. Like, I don't know, Pennsylvania talking about allocating 10% of its $7 billion reserve to buy Bitcoin if that Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Act passes. Or the company Solidian Technology announcing that they're going to have a strategic allocation for their corporate strategy to Bitcoin. Seems kind of like a big deal. My buddy Sebastian Ski over here posted enterprise value per exahash. The thing I like about this chart is how low the value is for Bitfarms, CleanSpark, Iris Energy, Marathon. There's a few others in here too, but these are my babies. And it shows that the HPC plays are seeing a lot of value incorporated into them. But I think, again, some of these are kind of a steal right now, and that they're going to get better. Lots to talk about, though. Oh, and Bitcoin could have the highest monthly candle by dollar amount ever in history. Seems like a decent amount of signal here as well. Also, we had, again, PPI was a little bit hot yesterday. It seems like people are trying to digest all of that. But we did see a drop in the probability. We were in the 80s yesterday before we got the PPI data. We saw a drop down to 62.4 for December for a rate cut from the government. So that's something to remember here, too. Let me look here. A bunch of people saying good morning. I need to drink something. I'm dying over here. I do want, real quickly, I missed this yesterday, so we're probably going to hop into it right now while I drink some coffee or chai tea. This is Michael Saylor yesterday getting interviewed, talking about how he believes there's going to be a lot of pro-Bitcoin policies going into place because of recent occurrences. Also, it looks like Ron Barron was talking on CNBC. I listened to a little bit of it. I don't know if there's anything too new and insightful inside of it, but it was good. Raphael, got your hoodie, Jesse. It's great. That's awesome. I just got some clothes today too. I need to look at them. I was so busy yesterday. I haven't done it, but that's awesome. Let's listen to this though. Let's listen to Michael Saylor yesterday.
Joining us now in an exclusive interview is Michael Saylor, co-founder and executive chairman at MicroStrategy. He is joining us from the Cantor Crypto, Digital Assets, and AI Infrastructure Conference in Miami. Michael, it's great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for hosting me, Morgan.
So I'm going to start right there. The torrid run we've seen in Bitcoin, is this all just anticipation about what a Trump administration is going to mean for it?
The red wave is probably the biggest thing that's happened in the past 4 years for Bitcoin. It's incredibly auspicious for Bitcoin and for the entire crypto industry. But we're also getting a lot of very constructive support from Wall Street. BlackRock has been a very, very strong voice articulating the Bitcoin value proposition. And of course, MicroStrategy on October 30th announced that we were going to raise $42 billion to buy Bitcoin. And that's the same as saying we're going to buy every Bitcoin mine for the next 3 years at 85.
I'm sorry. Hold up. What did he just say? Let's listen to the rest of this.
$5,000 or more Bitcoin.
So he's saying that that's the same, their strategy over the next 5 years is the same as buying every Bitcoin available at an average of $87,000, roughly where it is now, right? Like we're almost near 90. So what he's telling you is they're creating a floor for the price of Bitcoin, a pretty substantial one.
There's a lot of bullish things going on in the market right now.
And I do want to get to that audacious.
Yeah, watches, I wouldn't buy a watch, man. Like, if you're going to buy a watch, buy one in the way distant future when you have too much money and it's a very small amount of your portfolio. First off, I never look at these things. What is this? This one right here? I never look at it. I'm pretty sure the battery's dead on it. Too lazy to get it replaced. It's literally just, like, cosmetic jewelry for men. Like, there's no point in a watch at all. Much better to put that money into something like Bitcoin or Tesla.
This $42 billion fundraising plan of yours. But first, there's a lot of regulation and regulatory aspects that are in focus with the Trump administration coming into play. SEC chairman, for example, a lot of expectations that Gary Gensler is going to step aside. And I realize Bitcoin itself is governed as a commodity.
For happiness, Dylan, I can tell you this. Like things like that provide very little happiness. Buying like things will not make you too happy.
Like other cryptocurrencies.
Like it'll give you a moment.
But when you're talking about the ETFs and when you're talking about the cryptocurrency exchanges and when you're talking about companies like yours, MicroStrategy, which is publicly traded, it is SEC. So how important is that appointment going to be? And who would you like to see at the helm?
Well, I think whoever chairs the SEC has probably the most pivotal role in the entire digital assets industry. I think this is incredibly bullish for digital assets. It's very good for the crypto industry. We're going to see a lot more pro-Bitcoin policies. We're going to see a digital assets framework. We're going to see an end to the war on crypto. We're going to see a lot of pro-business policies. And I think that clearly the SEC will be a big part of it. So it's above my pay grade to have an opinion on who it's going to be. But I think it's pretty clear the House, the Senate, the White House, they're all very pro-crypto. So I expect that we'll have a very supportive head of the SEC.
Michael, well, as well as you've done buying Bitcoin, I'm not sure anything is really above your pay grade.
Something to remember, guys, there's going to be a Bitcoin and crypto council. He will be on it.
At this point, which leads you to the question, what do you think is the biggest threat to Bitcoin's price staying above 60K? What potentially causes another dive below 30K?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to 60K. It's not going to 30K. I think it's going to go up from here. I'm planning the 100K party. And I'm thinking it's probably going to be New Year's Eve at my house. So I would be surprised if we don't go through 100K in November or December.
So then what's the biggest threat to it going lower?
I totally agree with that. Dave said, I've been swing trading the last couple of months, so now I'm fighting the urge to sell. Dude, if there's any advice I can offer, don't be willing to swing trade and sell Bitcoin at the second half of its parabolic phase. That literally the most parabolic time in Bitcoin is happening like right now. Yeah, I don't know. My swing trading lasts years. This is a 4-year cycle. So if you're really swing trading Bitcoin, you're doing it like every 4 years ish, or every 3 years. You're kind of doing your buying and you're selling, right? Outside of rebalancing. So I would just be very, very slow to sell Bitcoin-related investments right now at this stage, at least until 150K.
Or even if it doesn't get that low.
I think the biggest uncertainty in the
overtrading is the worst. I agree, Proven. It's the worst.
Industry.
Young investor. What did you say up here? You said something nice. I want to pull that up. Let me see here. Jesse, thanks to you, I'll be able to retire my first generation immigrant family and become a homeowner before I'm 30. That's kick ass, dude. I would love to hear about that as it happens.
It was November 5th, and would you have a blue wave, would you have a red wave, or would you have a split Congress, and would you have any dispute about the future of crypto assets and Bitcoin? I think that was settled by the people very decidedly on November 5th, and I don't really see any threats in the near-term horizon.
A strategic Bitcoin reserve, how likely is it that that is actually established? And why would that be a good thing when you're talking about a decentralized asset now being stockpiled by a centralized government?
Well, that's being sponsored by Senator Lummis from Wyoming, and she understands the value of the frontier. The United States was built by purchasing Manhattan, then we purchased the Louisiana Territory, then we purchased California,
Very
and
well
acquired
said.
Texas, and then we bought Alaska. The next great frontier is cyberspace, and the obvious thing to do is to own cyberspace, buy the future. And so I think it's a great idea. I think it will happen. And I think it's important to the United States because it cements the United States' control over the future world reserve capital network. Senator Lummis's bill will offset $16 trillion of our debt, according to my models right now. So I think it's economically wise, it's technically wise.
16 trillion in debt. I want to see that model.
And again,
That's
Bitcoin
awesome.
is manifest destiny for the United States.
I agree. Yeah. Anyway, such a great video. Such a great video. Let's see if there's any more real quickly before we go too deep down the rabbit hole today. We do have, let's see, it's 7:07. We've got economic data. I posted a few things in regard to China that are just ugly. China's trying to say they have I should say this. Citi changes their guide to China being able to do 5% GDP. I don't know, man. It sounds like Citi must have a lot of money in China if they're willing to guide higher on their GDP, a completely fabricated number. Again, you've got to remember China removed 95% of their analytics from their economic data. So it's all bullshit and fabricated. And the only things that are really interesting are like new loans and outstanding loan growth. Things like that where you can clearly see the pattern. There's others too. New home sale prices. There's a bunch of things where you can just clearly see the pattern. I would argue this one in outstanding loan growth for the yuan is not good, since it is by far the lowest number going back to 1998. So this is about 30 years worth of data, and it sucks. And there's many more like this. The only thing that's helpful is the M2 money supply. They have to expand out, and as they do that, it ends up helping everybody. But yeah, so not much else. Again, we already kind of looked. Did we look at this yesterday? 8:30 time frame. Yeah, okay. We're way down the list. Let's go out here. Way down the list. Okay, here we go. And there's just a bunch more. Their foreign direct investment. I showed this one too. Just horrific. Again, 30% drops in foreign direct investment year over year are really bad numbers. It is arguably already worse than the great financial crisis, which is fascinating. And I think it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. We have some manufacturing data, new motor vehicle sales and wholesale sales coming out of Canada. Then we have retail sales, export, import, New York Empire State manufacturing, just a bunch of details, industrial production, capacity utilization. All the industrial manufacturing data is coming out today. That'll start, I believe, I don't even think I have the time zone right here still. So about 20 minutes, we'll get a big data dump. And so we'll look at that when it comes out. The Chinese won? No, we won. That's very true. That is very, very true. But yeah, so we'll be looking at that when it comes out here in about 20 minutes. So remind me if I get too lost down the rabbit hole here. Let's look real quickly at the fear and greed. See how we're sitting over here. Also, we're seeing the oil prices. They're back under 70 again at 68.52, which is good. Stock market almost in neutral territory, kind of liking that. Is the fear and greed high on the crypto side? Let's see here. What are we at? It looks like it took a dip too. It went from 88 to 80. So that's a pretty decent drop. This thing can remain. I just want to remind you though, this thing can remain in this territory over here. I'll just kill this real quick. This thing can remain in here for a very long time during a bull market. A very long time. And I think this is going to be a raging bull market. Just absolutely insane. So again, in the monthly candle gives a good representation of that too, right? Like this by dollar amount monthly candle going to the moon says a lot. And the fact that we're near 90,000. Again, I've said this before, but guys, this is right where I said it was going to stop at the 92,000 range. I was hoping that it was going to blast through it because we had a lot of strength and momentum, but whatever, taking a break is totally healthy. Don't freak out because of this. This is super fucking bullish. When you have this kind of acceleration and you're already just pressing this hard against the .618 Fibonacci, this is good. Now, could it trend a little bit? Could it just grind over for like another month and then take off? It totally could. It could take till December. It could take weeks for this thing to take off. But honestly, I think by December it doesn't. I don't see how it doesn't. I think there's just too much momentum. There's too many good things. Again, when we look at Pennsylvania looking to potentially allocate large amounts to their strategic reserve, we have one in the U.S. The U.S. might announce in the months ahead that they're doing that. And then you have more companies that are doing this. And then, again, there's so much more than this, guys. There's so much more than this. Let's go down. Financial Times reports Bitcoin's big bang moment is impossible to ignore. I agree. Also, I told you guys yesterday before I took off, I said Mara to 20-ish. What is Mara at right now? It got down to 2079. It hasn't closed its gap yet, so there's a little bit of risk for further downside here. Clean Spark, I said it could go down to 14. Clean Spark went to 1398, so that gap is closed. Iron and Bitfarms are already closed. And Cypher, I don't know where that one landed. It's probably really close. We could pull that up in a second. But a lot of these gaps have closed. This is good. This is what you want to see. It just allows for a continuation. Let me see. This was November 12th, but yeah. But it says US ETFs bought 12,850 BTC yesterday. Just remember, what are we producing right now for Bitcoin? Is it 750? It's less. It's 450 a day. So when you have these kind of purchases, there's something called OTC, over-the-counter trade, where you can buy in bulk from people, and maybe you'll say that you'll give them 25. You'll give them a higher amount than what the market price is for the Bitcoin, and they can sell it in a block. So that seller has an incentive to do that, because if you sell large blocks, if you don't time them out slowly, then you'll see that it can roll over. All right, I'm sorry, you could roll over, and if you're a big seller, you could drop the price of Bitcoin, at least on one exchange, if you don't do it slowly and you don't distribute it out. So it's an incentive for them if somebody's going to pay them more to sell a big block at once, because they don't have to worry about losing and getting a much lower average sale price, while at the same time they can get rid of that huge block for actually more. So that, but the OTC is drying up. It's drying up really hard. And when it does that, everything goes to market. When everything goes to market, shit gets real. Yeah, I saw that. Palantir's moving to the NASDAQ, so they're switching over. I think that gave them, they're up 2.5% in pre-market. They were down 2.5% yesterday. They'll probably end up even higher than that today. Let me see here. I'm trying to see what else I wanted to talk about. There's other good stuff in here. Bernstein urges investors exposure to Bitcoin. Yeah, okay. There's a few others in here. I think my bookmarks reset. Oh, right. Yeah, they did. I hate it when this shit shifts. Let me get back up here. Let me see. So right here. Boop, 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 boop. See if there's anything else I want to talk about real quick. Yeah, they all shifted on me. I fucking hate that so much. Hate that. If there's anything you guys can fix, fix the shifting bookmarks. It drives me nuts. Let me sort by date or something, for the love of God. Mr. Monk E says supply crunch coming per James from Invest Answers. He's 100% right. It's going to be a massive supply crunch that's coming right now. That's why I don't want people taking too much of a break right now, guys. You don't want to be, don't sell. Don't get scared out by a down day while I'm gone. One day where we're still at $90,000. Don't get scared by that stuff, please to God. And just, again, buy more Bitcoin miners, or at least that's what I'm doing. Let me see here. Somebody said Argentina. Did you say it was up in pre-market? Let's look here real quick. I haven't, let me pull some stuff up. Wow, I thought this was an old report. Keep stacking sats. There is no second best. There is no second best. Yeah, there is no second best. All right, real quickly, let's look at Bitcoin, and then we'll look at other parts of the market too. Again, this is just such a thing of beauty, guys. This is such a thing of beauty. Stopping right where we should, taking a breather. I don't think it's going to be long, and then we're off into launch mode again. X never gives notifications for your subscription post. Have to go to your profile and go to subs to see them. Yeah, they're not great with video right now, and probably the subs and other stuff. They need to fix all of that. It's just one of those things where, yeah, especially if you have a lot of noise. If you have a lot of other people you're following, make sure you do all notifications on X too. That's really important. If you do all notifications over here, like if you're following somebody, and I guess I can't do this with myself. Let me see, Seth. We'll do it with Seth. So if you go over here and you click on this, make sure that you do all notifications. Whoa, weird. Is it just one thing now? Has that changed? Huh, I don't know why. Normally you have like options, right? Oh, maybe it's all the same thing now. But yeah, make sure you do that stuff too. Let's get over here though real quick. I want to see how the rest of the market's doing. So let's go to pre-market real quick here and sort. So DLO's down, but it was up 12% yesterday. I actually think DLO could close the gap. It created a massive gap yesterday, so I would actually prefer for that to close before going higher. MSTU, MicroStrategy still leading, not surprised. BITX actually in second place. Makes sense since, it's a 2x Bitcoin and Bitcoin is rocketing in the morning. Iron's up, HIMS is up, MSTR is up, Riot, CleanSpark, Cypher, Palantir, Coin, Mara, Baba, Blef. If I wasn't tracking that, just for a gauge of China, I wouldn't even have it on this list. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. Still losing my voice. Argentina actually flat on the day. Again, Argentina's data, though, for their inflation looks good. Still at like 193% year over year, but it's rolling over, and that's the important part. People get confused by the number, but it's a really, really good thing. And I'm sure we're going to see more of that in the not too distant future. Let's hop over here and look at other things like U.S. economy. I want to really focus, guys, really focus a lot on this, okay? U.S. exceptionalism. It's going to be huge. The U.S. is already, if you look here, U.S. stocks are certainly outperforming the rest of the world. It's now at a 75-year high. I actually should have and it's getting ready to go higher. I should have put it's getting ready to go a lot higher. A lot higher. This is something that is not ending anytime soon. This is only going to increase because the U.S. is going to be by far the most dominant market based upon what we're looking at with growth, with cost reductions, with just government that cares about balancing a budget or at least trying to get closer to it. And people are underestimating Elon Musk again and again and again. I wanted to show this. Seth Golden said, the Benjamin Button bull market. Usually bull markets get narrower and narrower with less and less participation over the bull market cycle. This one has been the opposite as more and more stocks have participated in the rally since the start of 2023, unlike 2020 and 2021. So I would argue that this is the beginning. Oh, my bad. This is the beginning of the bull market, and that is why. Also, this is hilarious. There's another post that I'll show you in a second. But it's Elon Musk reposting this. It's from the New York Post. It says, here's where Elon can start cutting federal spending. From transgender monkeys, DEI, and checks to dead people, here's where Elon Musk can start cutting federal spending. Look, there's a cat on a treadmill, $500,000. What the fuck is that? We're going to show you. There's some more down here, guys. This is crazy. Here's what the U.S. government wasted $900 billion of your tax dollars on in 2023. Look at this. Barbie doll photo used to get COVID PPP funds. In the red, interest on national debt as an expense. Again, just interest. Dr. Fauci's monkey business and NIH's Monkey Island. What? $33 million. U.S. aid to fund boost Egyptian tourism. We're boosting Egyptian tourism for $6 million. Russian cats on a treadmill studies funded by NIH portion $2.7 million. The government pays dead people $38 million. DOD's lobster tank $8,400. The Department of Defense has a lobster tank. How to ruin expensive military equipment Part 1 engines. I don't know what this means. Real fake DHS's graphic novel about disinformation unknown. So all this disinformation, we're the truth shit. NIH meth head monkeys portion of $12 million. Treasury's pot of cash for political campaigns, $400 million. $400 million for political campaigns. Really? Improper federal payments. Jeez. Flashback, the government likes its gambling monkeys, $171,000. This is insane. This is just like, this is all going to get fixed. Also, let's listen to our buddy Bill Ackman talking about what's going to be happening soon with the government.
Teams of their businesses are extremely optimistic.
Sorry, going back.
Teams of their businesses are extremely optimistic. Even those that have voted against Trump are excited about what's going to happen with the economy. So I think we're going to have a big economic boom, and actually freeing up a meaningful number of government employees to make them available to the private sector will actually help manage the potential for inflation. So the cost cutting is one thing, but making the government more efficient on regulatory approvals. You think about how difficult it is in America to build a bridge, a highway, a house, the faster, if you can accelerate construction, obviously that has a huge impact on infrastructure, the fluidity of the economy, driving demand, and actually, I think freeing up government workers to step into some of these roles that will be created will actually help the economy manage through this period.
It could really change their
100%
lives,
agree.
too, for the better. It'd be so exciting to work for one of these innovative companies.
The best part that people don't understand is Elon, in way less than 500 days, so I would say the first year, will fire 75 to 80% of government. If you can imagine that. I know people don't think that's the real number, but that's what's coming. And he'll give them 2 years of pay. They can go back to the private workforce where their productivity will be better. and then at the same time, we can have a much more sustainable budget for our federal government. I think it's just a win-win-win. There's so much cleaning that can be done, and there's a lot of naysayers on the Democrat side because they want to see America fail because Trump's going to be the president, but it's not going to work out that way, and so their bias is not going to serve them, as they probably don't invest in stuff and they probably don't get excited about it. They're going to miss out. They're going to miss out, and that's their problem.
Hiring new blood. These people have been stuck in these concrete jungles in the circles of D.C. And maybe it's
No, it's perfect, Henry. You want to do that. You said 2 years is way too much. That's actually the completely wrong take. You want to pay them for 2 years because you don't want to have a slowdown.
new leaf for them, too.
Oh, my bad. You don't want to have a slowdown in tax receipts, and you don't want to have a slowdown in the economy from laying these people off. You want to give them a large transition period, and you want them to still be able to bolster the economy. Because think about what happens. Then the tax receipts go even higher because if they're getting paid for 2 years, and then at the same time, they get another job somewhere else, their income doubles. And so then instead of having to worry about contraction, you're looking at expansion while forecasting to the rest of the world, buy our bonds, we're going to be sustainable in the future. And so you're helping yourself across every spectrum of the Treasury, the Fed, and the government. It's the way you want to do it. You don't want to have a shock to the system where you let go of 80% of the people and they have no income and they're thrown into the workforce and you would just destroy the economy. You would destroy it overnight.
You wrote in that X post to which I referred, and you mentioned
exactly, BR.
That merger and acquisition activity is about to explode. Do you think so?
Yes.
Yes. So the Biden administration has been, and Lena Khan, who's led the FTC, very anti sort of merger. And the result of that is, many of the startups in our country don't get to a scale where they can go public. They have to be basically sold. And if, you don't allow the Facebooks and the Googles and the other, companies to make acquisitions, these businesses eventually either run out of capital or run out of opportunity. And, there are a lot of big companies where meaningful synergies can be created when one business buys another. But if you can't do a deal,
Sure.
you have to sort of put it on hold. And sort of the antitrust environment in the last 4 years was one in which you wouldn't even try to do a transaction. I think that's going to change. And so there's sort of a long list of transactions that are waiting to happen in the event.
Oh, and then unfortunately, that one cuts off. But again, I think M&A, I think you're going to look at M&A. You're going to look at more efficient government. You're going to be looking at pro-growth. You're going to be looking at lower taxation. You're going to be looking at a much more sustainable economy in the United States. And you're going to be looking at one that just explodes higher. Betting against Elon Musk has proven over and over again to be a very bad decision. These two guys, I just saw Vivek say that they're not taking they're taking a hammer to the government budget. They're just going to wipe it out. Oh, it looks like today to 8:40 Eastern. So in about 14 minutes, we'll be getting Cathie Wood on CNBC. So we'll probably skip to watch that. But if I'm right about the economic data, in about 4 minutes, we'll be getting a bunch of different data points. And so we'll see how the market does there. Let's look real quickly at the stock market heat map, and then we'll put it in kind of ugly yesterday, especially for Tesla. Did Tesla go down because people are worried about the tax credit? Is that real? Like, again, I was driving all yesterday. Are people really that retarded where they think that that's going to hurt Tesla? Because it's the exact opposite. My friend Curious Peggy posted, he's like, this is actually probably great because you're front loading a bunch of sales for Tesla, right? Everybody's like, oh shit, I better get my Tesla. My friend just got one yesterday, right? So everybody's like, I better get my Tesla now. And so they're looking to do that. And so you're increasing sales in Q4, potentially Q1, because I don't think they'd revoke the credit by that time. And so you're gonna really be ramping up the next couple of quarters with a lot of growth, helping Tesla. And then at the same time, the robo-taxi will be kicking in. And maybe we get a smaller, cheaper vehicle. I know everybody, Herbert seems to want to believe this, Curious, Peggy, a bunch of people are like, oh, we're still getting the cheap one. I think maybe we get the cheap car, like if they absolutely have to do it. But Elon's made it very clear he doesn't want to do that. And just like when he made the crazy looking Cybertruck that nobody was going to want to buy and everybody seems to be buying now, he said, no, this is what I'm doing. I still believe that's what he's doing. I believe the Cybercab is going to be coming out and that we're not getting one with a wheel anymore. I don't think we're getting one with a wheel anymore. He's just not going to do it. He's going to say, this is the transition time. You want one with a fucking steering wheel? Buy one of our other cars. Otherwise, this is it. This is the Cybercab, and this is what it's going to do. And they'll build those out. And then again, we got the robot coming. We got energy blowing up. There's so many good things happening right now. If you don't think Elon's going to benefit, when Donald Trump Jr.'s daughter is calling Elon Musk Uncle Elon, if you don't think his companies are going to benefit from that, you're not paying attention. But yeah, market today looks like the big guys are down heading into the morning. So again, we'll watch this when the economic data comes out. It looks like we're seeing, a little bit of recovery in other areas. Bitcoin looking really good, in my opinion. And a lot of Bitcoin, again, if we look over here, it's like all the Bitcoin proxies are doing really good today too, especially MSTU and MSTX. These days, MicroStrategy is going to be the leader. It's just going to be the leader heading into all of this. It doesn't mean it's going to get a higher multiple, but it's going to lead over the short term. That's how it works. Let's look here real quick at people's comments. And again, let me just get over here because I think in about a minute, if I'm right, yeah, there we go. I can already see retail sales. It says 1 minute, 30 seconds. So we should be getting some data here in a second. Let's see. Jesse said regulation drives competition. Musk probably lobbied for this. It hurts everyone behind him. Yeah, I think getting rid of the tax credit will destroy a lot of other companies. It will just end them. It will end their transition, and it will make Tesla even more powerful. Adam Gamblin, have you seen Gary's thesis? Most likely bad in news and short term. No, Gary's so dumb. He's just such a boomer. I don't listen to him. Paw Mark, we should hear more about Trump's cabinet picks later today, as we still have many vacant. Dude, there's so much going on. So much going on. Low time frame, head and shoulders forming on Bitcoin. We can take a look. I'm not really worried about it. I'm not again, guys, I'm not somebody who cares about the day trading shit. That's just not going to be me. At this point in time, you want to err. The risk is that you're not in the market. That's Bitcoin risk right now. The risk for Tesla, if we look out 3 to 6 months, is that you're not in Tesla. The risk for Bitcoin is that you're not in Bitcoin. Okay, that's it. All right, let's see here. Still waiting for it to come up. Not refreshing on my end. I might just refresh again. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you got to. There we go, getting some. 0.4 retail sales, better than expected. X autos, worse than expected. So you take out auto and it's not doing as good. Import prices are 0.8%. They're expecting 0.1. That's not great. That could help the inflation camp. Export prices are negative 0.1 when they were expecting negative 0.8%. So that's kind of good. Retail sales year over year, 2.8% versus 1.9 expected. Let's see what else we got populating here. Looking for more. Yeah, TSH, we could talk about that. I mean, now I'm making, I guess, $210,000 a year because of social media. So that helps pay the expenses. But before that, I can tell you what I did. 1 sec. I'm trying to refresh here again. I hate it when this data doesn't come up all the way. Oh, here we go. We got more. New York State Empire Manufacturing Index, 31.2 versus negative 5. Wow. Wow. That's a fucking impulse. Holy. What the effing A is that? Highest number Highest number since September of 2021. I'm going to take a screenshot of that, yo. That's crazy. Highest number on the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index since 2021. That's nuts. All right, so we'll have to look. I got to look at the rest of the data. I want to get a post out for this, though. This is fascinating. Empire State Manufacturing Index. 3 years. That seems like a big deal to me. We'll see if other people feel the same. Again, the import prices being a little bit higher, I don't love, but that could be like some seasonality too. And I do think that's going to drop because, again, I think there's going to be a rush to get imports into the United States at cheaper prices. So I think that number will help in going into the Q4. Let's get back over here, though. I just want to see if there's anything else that's interesting. Okay, so that's it so far. So retail sales are good. New York Empire State Manufacturing Index is great. Export prices were okay. They weren't as low as people expected. Import prices were a little hot. I think that's it. That's the read. That's the read. So, but not super hot. I mean, not like crazy hot. So, yeah, this seems like good news. Let's see how things are going today. Are we getting any updates over here? Is this refreshed at all? We should listen to Rick, too. Let's hop over. Let's listen to our boy. Rick Santelli. Let's get his take. See if he's got anything special. Oh, hey, real quickly, too. I just wanted to say, guys, let me just pop this up over here. I am actually all for this movement. I'm hoping more people do this. If we can get more liberal women on the left to shave their heads and to abstain from having sex so that they procreate less, I think that's probably going to be better for humanity. So I hope they continue down that path between aborting all the babies and not having sex. It should help a lot. So I hope that happens. All right, let's get over here. Listen to our boy. All right, coming hot. Let me get caught up with comments here. We need some Santelli.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. We were watching the futures this morning, a little bit in the red. Rick Santelli is...
To be clear, I do not care about XRP in any way. I think it's shit. I never liked it. It's literally called the banker's coin. Who the fuck likes that? Not me.
Standing by at the CME in Chicago.
It also has gotten lower highs every cycle. It's one of those classic underperformers of Bitcoin.
With some breaking economic data. Rick, the numbers, please.
Jeez.
There's a lot of them, so buckle up. Empire will start with November. This is the most current read on manufacturing. Comes in very strong, 31.2. That is really strong. That's the best level since September of 21. Maybe manufacturing starting to wake up a bit. Now let's go to October retail sales. These are the advanced numbers. They will get modified slightly in about a couple of weeks. If we look at the headline number, stronger than expected, up 0.4, 1/10 hotter than I was looking for, equals the rear view mirror. Back-to-back 0.4. To find a better back-to-back, you're going to February and March of this year, 0.7, 0.5%. And if we look at X autos, we see it deteriorates a bit. So autos, of course, made a difference. They're only up 1/10. That's a couple of tenths light, significantly lighter than the rear view mirror, which was 0.5%. Now, some of those numbers may get revised. They haven't yet. Up 1/10 would be the lightest level going back to May when it was unchanged. Now we strip out autos and gas. It remains up 1/10. Also a light look there, significantly lighter than 0.7 in the rear view mirror. That's the lightest level going back to April when it was minus 1/10. Now, if we look at what's known as core, the control group, that's an input into higher numbers on the food chain. That number comes in a negative number, minus 1/10. Minus 1/10. We are looking for a number around up 0.3. And in the rear view mirror, revisions starting to come in. I'll get to those in a minute. Minus 1/10 is the weakest number going back to April. Now, we do see retail sales revisions coming in. If you look at the headline number, up 0.4 last month, goes from up 0.4 to up 0.8, which really makes the headline number that much stronger. X autos doubled also from up 0.5 to up a full percent, so it makes that 1/10 look better.
Nice. So we're getting revisions higher. Good revisions higher.
All these revisions are powerful. If you look at X autos and gas, from 0.7 to up 1.2, and finally on the control number, it goes from 0.7 to 1.2. That certainly helps the minus 1/10 look a whole lot better. Now let's look at import-export prices. If we look at the headline number on import prices, expected to be down, it comes in up 0.3. Up 0.3. That would be the biggest jump since April when it was up 0.9. If you take out petroleum, up 0.2. So you can see that that had a subtle but still subtle difference. Up 0.2. Up 0.2 equals our last look. So we have back-to-back 0.2. That's some of the better back-to-backs, although the strongest number, of course, was April up 0.6. If you look at import prices now, and this is a year-over-year number, so we take a step back, that's up 0.8, up 0.8, much, much stronger than expected. So we're seeing import prices move up a bit. What does that say about demand in the U.S.? That's the strongest number, equals what we had in August. You have to go to July when it was 1.6. Now, if we look at month-over-month export prices, a strong 0.8. 0.8. We're looking for a negative number. That is the strongest number going all the way back to August of last year. And finally, on the year-over-year export prices, minus 1/10. That is much lighter than expected. We're expecting down 1.6. So minus 1/10. How does that shape up?
Thanks, Chester.
That's actually the best number going back to July when it was 1.2. So really, we're seeing prices, both import, export, stronger than we expected, and we see that interest rates have moved a bit higher. The big news today is that the dollar index yesterday closed at a one-year high, November of last year. And right now, as we sit at 445, we are up 15 basis points on the week. Even though we're roughly unchanged on the day, a 2-year at 434, roughly down a couple of ticks on the day, but it's up 7 on the week. Those are numbers to pay attention to, especially after what we saw yesterday on a U-turn of interest rates, as the chairman and others have acknowledged. Want to hear what Goolsbee says? You know, you could look at this data for inflation last couple of days. Most said it wasn't that big of a deal. I think they were warmer than expected. It's something to pay attention to. Becky, back to you.
Rick, nobody does it better, taking all of that information, seeing it real time, and
so the rates are still hitting high. Let's check out a little bit in the bond. I want to check out the dollar and a whole bunch of other things real quick. So I think the dollar got a pop off of this because the U.S. economy is looking strong. Let me see. I'm just going to move this over. It's still down 0.28%. But still, it's looking very interesting here. It looks like it could still roll over. Again, we're kind of hitting the peaks over here. This one is a higher high though. So we got to see how that plays out. I was listening to a bunch of different like YouTube videos and some Audible stuff. I was listening to conversations about what can happen with the dollar and some of the tools that the government will have available to it in regard to controlling currency prices, like the dollar versus other currencies in the world, how China can be impacted by everything that's going to happen with tariffs. Just really fascinating conversations. I'm still stewing over it, and I might listen to them again and include a bunch of others so I can kind of figure out the path forward. But it's very fascinating. I'll just say that. And so hopefully I'll have a much better thesis for you here soon. Gold, again, pretty large retracement that we've seen from where we were at. When was this? October 1st. So, again, about 6 weeks ago, gold, everybody was excited about gold at 2,800 per ounce. And it's gotten as low as 2,550 as of recent. So that's very fascinating. Can you share those? Yeah. I'll send I'll send out the YouTube video. Actually, let me see. Maybe I can find it real quick here. 1 second. This is one of the ones I was watching yesterday afternoon. Nope. Let me see. Right here. Is that it? Nope. Ah, here we go. Here's a good one. Let me grab this.
Hey, everyone. This episode is sponsored by Ledger. For the
All right.
past
So let
decade,
me-
Ledger.
Oh, my bad. What am I doing here? I'm clicking on 20 million things. All right, here you go. Here is one of the videos that I was watching yesterday that was great. Blockworks is just a great YouTube company, too. I love listening to. They have a lot of different views. Some of them are better than others, but very interesting stuff. That goes pretty deep down the rabbit hole, though. Again, oil down 0.53%. Looks like it still wants to break down. Again, when you spend a lot of time somewhere, you're very likely to break through it. And I think that's what's getting ready to happen in oil. Again, you can't be long oil knowing who Trump is. Let's look at the bond volatility index. Bond volatility is still down. I don't hate that. Let's look at the 2-year. 2-year still climbing, trying to climb. Well, I mean, I guess it's down 0.1% today. Let's look at the 10. How are we sitting on the 10-year? Oh, and I should show DLO real quick, too, for anybody that's in it. Yeah, so we're still hitting that 10. We're still hitting that ceiling, guys. It's hard to get above it. You see how we just keep grinding around here? I don't think we're going to get above it. So I think that will end up being a good thing. We'll have our bearish divergence pull us down here on the 10-year rate. So that's all good stuff. Let me pull up DLO real quick, though, just since I was gone yesterday. I want to show this one real fast and kind of explain. So, again, it did really great yesterday. It shot up like this is such a great candle, guys. All right, so let me show you some stuff here real quick. So this was painful. Like, this is a hell of a drop right here. Let me see if I can get a weekly. That might be more telling. Does the weekly show anything? It's starting to. We're early in the week. You can't quite see it because of the way this chart is. Let me go to the 3-day maybe. Still hard to see. But anyway, so massive candle impulse here. That's usually a pretty good sign that you're at the bottom. After you've been down and then you have a really strong impulse, that's a good sign that you're finding some headway. Now, we did go up and then retrace a ton. If you look over here, it actually ran up to 1184. The gap that it needed to close, though, is all the way up to 13, so it didn't get it. So it did not close the gap. So if anything, I think this is just a signal of an impulse. Still have a pretty large gap over to the side over here, and we will see this go higher because, again, the financials look good. It might be down 2% in pre-market, but it was up 13% yesterday, even though it was up much higher at one point. Again, I was on the road, so I didn't really act on it. But I'm okay with that. I actually think that the calls will drag higher here, and I think there's still really good potential for this thing to get up to the 1350 range in a short order of time, which will make those options look a lot better. And again, I still think this thing can go up. I think 1350, 16, just even by Q1 is a possibility. Because again, the impulse down was ugly on this thing. Now that's assuming the fundamentals are good. All right. Anyway, let's keep going. I do believe, has she come on yet? I don't think so. Let me go back here. Let me see if she's on yet. I'm trying to see if Cathie Wood's going to be on here. I really want to hear her. You know what? For a second, let's listen to Chicago Fed Goolsbee. I want to hear what he has to say, too. He's actually pretty insightful. Usually. He's pretty level-headed. Yeah, what did they say about Empire State, too? Let me just go back. I want to make sure I caught his comment.
Information, seeing it real time, and analyzing it for us and spitting it back. Anyway, thank you. We will see you later. Have a great weekend, Rick.
Thank you.
And since he's got an IFB, I think Austin probably heard. I'm sorry, President Goolsbee joining us now on the new data, interest rates, and much more. Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee. So your ears were burning probably there. Mr. President, you heard.
Yeah, that was Rick. I haven't seen him in a while. I got to have him over to the Chicago Fed.
He's local.
Exactly.
He's local.
I should go to, what is that, Scoozy? What's the name of that? Is that restaurant still open there? I think that's where I used to go. A lot of questions, Austin. I thought it was interesting to hear the Chairman Powell, the other day kind of put some cold water or at least at least raise the possibility of what we call a pause. We get pauses every once in a while, but maybe we don't do another 25. Coming after a 50 and a 25, which a lot of people, maybe you included.
I want to say this real quick. So the idea of a pause, I still think we get another rate cut in December, but the idea of pausing after 100 basis points, I don't think is crazy. I think that the neutral rate is going to be higher, for sure. And so I could see that end up being something where, again, we're in the 3% range for the new neutral rate, not the 2.25, 2.5 that we've historically liked in that 2% range. I could see us be higher, but I still see mortgage rates coming down like another, 150 bips from where they are right now. I could see that easily, 200 maybe by the end of spring.
Weren't absolutely sure was the right move. Now all this hot data just came out that Rick gave you, which would kind of explain the chairman. But I didn't understand it because the last jobs number was kind of weak. So I didn't know what he was looking at, and I'm wondering whether the Trump trade is now informing some of the Fed's decisions. Are you preparing for tariff inflation?
Well, you got a lot going on in there.
I know.
will say,
I think a lot.
I always clarify the rules say I'm only allowed to talk for myself. So if you're asking me what the chairman thought, you gotta reach out and ask the chair. That said, as I look at the economy, the basic story of what's been happening, if you're looking for the long arc, is inflation has come way down from its peaks. The job market cooled to something like about full employment where we want it. We did get 1 month of weak jobs numbers that it's hard to reconcile what does it mean for the long run because we had a bunch of hurricanes, we had a big strike from Boeing. Previous to that, we had a couple of very strong numbers, and previous to that, we had one weak number. So again, we got to take the through line. And I think the through line, as long as we keep making progress toward the 2% inflation goal, over the next 12 to 18 months, rates will be a lot lower than where they are now. That's where that's where we need to settle. I took from the chair's comments that we're not, I like this phrase, that we're not in a hurry to automatically get there. And I do think if there's disagreement of what's the neutral rate, it does make sense at some point to start slowing how rapidly you're getting there, just to figure out, given the lags of monetary policy, are we at neutral? Are we getting close to neutral? But the overall through line is, I was saying before the election, and I'm going to say now after the election, it has nothing to do with the election. It has to do with what the conditions are. And to me, the conditions on the dual mandate side are looking pretty balanced. And so we should be thinking over the next year and a half, the rates need to come down.
What do you think, core? If core's 2.8, that's a ways still, unless you really
that's too high. Yeah, no, that's
you really don't.
Where do I see TLT in 6 months? I see it up. I see the price going up because I think people are going to trust 10, 20, and 30-year bonds a lot more. So you'll see TLT pop, but you'll see the rates for these bonds, you'll see the rates that they pay out go down. So I think it's going to be beneficial. I don't know exactly what price it'll be at in 6 months. That's hard to say with 100% assurity. But I think, again, the thing that I'm planning on doing is using TLT as like a cash source of funds type hedge where it could get, 30% upside if something weird happens in a short period of time. Because, again, if people can trust, we got Cathie Wood. All right, we might have to skip Goolsby. But if people can trust the government, I think bonds end up doing a lot better. But here's the deal. I don't know that they'll be up a lot in the next 6 months, and I hope they're not. I actually hope that it takes a while. I hope that it's the end of the Bitcoin cycle, which is usually Q4 of 2025, if you look at the timings of the halving. And I would like TLT to kind of remain where it is, maybe not go up too much, and then 6 months to 9 months from now or 12 months from now, have that be the thing where, you know, you've got it as a nice hedge, and then maybe Bitcoin starts to do like its downward cycle, and maybe we see some slowness in other markets. I don't even know anymore. With Trump getting elected and everything we're talking about doing with the government, it's going to be fascinating to see where we are in 6 months. If we're as positive as I think we're going to be, we could have a hell of a melt up. So I'm really, really going to be paying and working I'm going to be paying a lot of attention and working really hard over the next year, because I think that's the time for all of us to do it. Dylan would love to see 150,000 for Christmas, 50% upside within 1 month. Is that possible? Yeah, it's possible. It does. Whether it's probable or not, I can't tell you. Maybe it's a 30% probability. But who cares? Even if it's spring, who gives a shit? 50% on that. If you're getting a 2 to 3x with MicroStrategy, or multiplying that times 4 to 6x with MSTY or I'm sorry, MSTU or MSTX and or some other Bitcoin miner, that's a lot of money. So let's get real quickly though. I want to get back. I want to hear Cathie Wood.
Influence over
I love this
NHTSA.
lady. I love her.
Just even since the election.
I want to go back a little bit. I love her. Again, horrible stock picker. Brilliant at kind of looking out and seeing what the future will be from a broader perspective, though. So let's listen.
Next guest, ARK Invest CEO and CIO Cathie Wood. Her ARK Innovation ETF, I should say, is up about 12% since Donald Trump's election last week versus 3% for the S&P 500. But close to 15% of the ARK ETF is invested in Tesla. And some are concerned about Elon Musk's new government job and whether it could keep him from devoting enough time to his electric car company. I should also note, while ARK Invest is up today, or I should say up recently, on a longer-term basis, there are a lot of losses, and we can talk about that too. But Cathie, it's great to see you.
What a dipshit. I love how he starts out that conversation just to shit on her right out of the gate.
You've been a big bull of Elon's.
He literally, the entire reason he just said that about large losses over a period of time was to discredit what she's getting ready to say about Elon Musk. That's it.
Almost from the beginning. And so the question is, when you see him in this role at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, really?
And obviously his stock is up too, so it's benefiting.
Here, let me fix that real quick. ARKG is showing his BABA. Let me fix this real quick. Let me make sure that ARKG is correct here. If it's correct on here, then yeah, I'll be doing that. I'll be working on all the charts in Discord this weekend. So let me see. Oh, you're right. It is broken. All right. So it's here that it's broken. It's not in Discord. Let me fix it real quick. All right. 1 second here. Yeah, still looks like a good bottoming pattern, man. It looks real good. It's up to 1% in pre-market. It was down 6% yesterday, but gosh, this still looks like something that's getting ready to bounce. I might even buy more on it. I have money to spend too, so I need to do that. Let me get back to the video.
Fitted you, but do you say to yourself that he's able to manage all of these things? Do you, what first comes to mind when you see this?
Well, what first comes to mind is I think he's going to do a lot to bring efficiency to government. And what we're happy about is he's not going to be a part of government per se. He's very careful to say he'll be working from outside the government with Vivek Ramaswamy, which is also very good, especially from a healthcare point of view. And they will use technology and other sensible measures, I think, to really rein in government spending. So I think it's a good thing. You know, we've faced this question about Elon for many years as he started one company after another. But the way we're looking at this is Elon understands that we are at the threshold of a convergence among many technologies, AI being at the center of it, and proprietary data is key to winning. So he has more proprietary data from all of these companies than I think any other CEO.
When you see the stock up as much as it is just even since the election and his role in it, what do you think? What is the rationale? What is the economic rationale in your mind for that?
Well, there are two reasons. One, in the Tesla's last earning call, we got more information about Tesla's autonomous strategy. I think after the election, as we're thinking about what might happen here, right now, autonomous regulations are state by state. There is federal oversight, mostly for safety. We would not be surprised if the regulations become national. And if that happens, then Tesla's in a really good spot.
So you think this is his influence over NHTSA?
No, NHTSA is safety, and I think if you look at all of the accidents, and it is interesting that the media scrutinizes every one of Tesla's accidents out of the 45,000 or 40,000 per year, which involve a death. If you look at NHTSA's conclusions after going in detail into these accidents, it has concluded in the past that Tesla has the safest cars on the
Cathie,
road.
what I'm trying to understand, and this is the question: the stock has moved materially since the election, and as you know, I think this guy's a genius.
All right, real quickly, BK Trades, you're wrong. You said I dig the melt-up thesis. Considering government position layoffs and efficiency spending cuts put downward pressure on the market. They don't. They don't because the layoffs that are going to be occurring, at least the layoffs portion, they won't affect anything because they're still going to pay them for 2 years. So you'll have them moving to the private sector. You'll have them, if anything, increasing their income, increasing tax that's getting picked up by the government because they're still doing the payouts for 2 years while transitioning without really impacting much of anything outside of positively with the economy. Efficiency spending cuts, waste is not something that will put downward pressure on the markets. Getting rid of waste will not put downward pressure on the market. The Fed will be forced to step in with the money printer. So the Fed will still be printing money because we have high interest on our debts. So there's definitely more money printing occurring no matter what. And it's not so much the money printing we're going to be doing in the United States. It's going to be countries like China that are having to do tons of money printing because they're absolutely fucked. And there's a lot of other countries around the world that have that problem too. So it's kind of like, yeah, the melt up will be good, but you can't, like, what's happening with the government and what they're doing isn't going to be negative. Tariffs, there could be things with tariffs that cause complications that are unforeseen, but it won't be negative.
Elon Musk, and I think Tesla's done wonderful things, but I'm trying to just understand the price action.
What you think miners selling BTC? I don't know what you mean by that. They're selling very little BTC. They're at historical lows for selling BTC.
I could see somebody make an argument that tariffs that'll prevent other EV makers from China to come in should be helpful. I could see an argument that if the IRA goes away.
Yeah, I'm not worried about any of that, Papa. I'm not worried about the tariffs at all. First off, what are they worried about? What tariffs? What tariffs? And what power does Mexico have over the United States? What power does China have over the United States right now? Virtually none. Virtually none. And they can't afford contractions and major. They can't afford a tariff war. China especially. So, yeah, I'm not remotely worried about it. I'm not remotely. There'll be a lot of noise going back and forth, but I'm not remotely worried about it. You should watch the video I posted in the link a little bit ago.
And certain subsidies go away to a Ford and a GM, given where Tesla is in the marketplace. That should be a benefit. I could see, though I'll be very straight with you, I don't like the idea of him having influence over NHTSA per se, because I think that it's very difficult to have somebody who's in a business influencing how the regulation of that business works. But maybe NHTSA opens things up, and therefore he has a greater opportunity to move autopilot and everything ahead faster. The question is, those things, and maybe others, does that account for a 30% move in your mind?
The stock is fucking lower than it was 3 years ago, you retarded fuck.
30+% move.
Yes, well, it had been very depressed before that. As you know, we put our research out there. We have our team, Tasha Keeney, Sam Cole.
China's been selling bonds. They've been selling our bonds for a long time. It doesn't matter if they buy them. We could buy our own fucking bonds. We could invest in ourselves. What China does not matter at all.
For us, and our price target is 26.
This guy is seriously condescending. Who's this guy? Who are we talking about, Sock? Are you talking about me? Clarify real quick. I don't want to hold up the show. Okay, thank you.
$600 in 5 years. That research is out there. You can find it. You can look at the model, change anything you want. Autonomous is 90% of that valuation. And we think the probability of autonomous has gone up dramatically. I mean, Waymo is already doing it, and they've broken through a lot of barriers, actually for Tesla, in terms of introducing the concept. Now, Tesla, with 7 million robots on the road already, learning the roads around the United States and the rest of the world. If we have national legislation, we'll be in a very good place.
Agreed.
Cathie, where do you land right now on Bitcoin? You've talked about $500,000 being the price point. I don't know if you changed the time horizon for that, given what's happened. Maybe it's been slower. Maybe now it's speeding up again. What do you think, and what do you think actually drives the price action?
Right.
He's so stupid.
We have a 2030 target. In our base case, it's around $650,000. In our bull case, it's between $1 and $1.5 million. Now, remember, we were the first public asset manager to gain exposure to Bitcoin in 2015 at $250.
You guys are hilarious.
And we still, at 90,000, I think we have a long way to go. Why? Well, first of all, we're getting regulatory relief here, and I think that's one of the most important things coming out of this administration. We will get regulatory relief on all kinds of innovation, including healthcare. So the other thing is we're looking at Bitcoin now being viewed as a new asset class. It's not just a global monetary system. It's a new asset class. And what that means is institutions and asset allocators generally are saying, wait a minute, this asset is behaving differently from all of our other assets. We need to include. So I think that's the next big move. And if you look at years where the Bitcoin has halved and the inflation rate has gone down to 0.9, it's usually had a nice big move. So that's
Cathie, before we go, I got to ask you one tough question, and that is, back in October, Puck wrote an article that said, why is anyone listening to Cathie Wood?
What a piece of
the author
shit.
made the point at the time that the funds, the
What
ETF
a
fund,
piece
had
of
lost
shit.
$14.3 billion of shareholder value, which is an enormous
Fuck
amount of money.
this
I don't
guy.
think it's the same today. It's better than that. But why should people listen to you? By the way, the author gave us a hard time for even doing interviews with you.
What a fucking piece of shit. Oh, I'm so pissed at this guy.
It's so interesting that we cannot fire our clients. And I would say we're at the flip side today of where we were in the late 2021 period. We were saying back then, hold some powder dry.
Misogynist,
that
right?
didn't happen. Flows just gushed in.
What a
Today,
piece of
we're in
trash.
the opposite situation. We've been great on Tesla, Bitcoin, Nvidia at 40 cents was our first purchase,
She's
40 cents.
pissed.
We're pounding the table on that. And now we want to go after healthcare, CRISPR gene editing. If you look at J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, they're all
I agree.
talking about this new wave
Hell
of
yeah.
cures ahead. So stay tuned.
But how should we think about the volatility of your fund and some of these big bets and the way you're making them? I ask
if I was in that
because,
studio,
as
I would just knock him out.
You know, there was a period of time,
Just lay him out.
2020. You know, that ETF blew up in the, you know, your ETF blew up in the best way possible, right? It was up 150% or something. But then, of course, you know, if you look at a longer term chart, it's a lot more complicated. And so for those folks who watch us and
she literally answered
you know,
this
I'll
question,
ask you questions
asshole.
and they're listening to your answers intently, what are they supposed to think?
Two things. We have a volatile fund. We should not be a huge slice of any portfolio. We are more of a satellite strategy now, although we think this is the way the world is going. Second, if you take out that boom bust in around COVID, which which caused all kinds of interesting behaviors. You will look at, for the flagship, you'll see a fund that has based for 6 years. The technologies around which we have centered our research are so much more advanced.
Yeah, she's so calm.
So
She's way better than I would be.
we're a very good complement
I would lay
to
him out.
the broad-based benchmarks out there because we don't
I'd want to
look
be a stoic,
anything
but I'd still
like
hit
them.
him.
And truth will win out. The biggest depressant on the fund recently has been in the multi-omics, healthcare, life sciences space. We think that's going to change, and it's going to change quickly when it does because the rubber band is stretching. We're now seeing companies like CRISPR Therapeutics,
I'm sure
Intellia,
XMB.
on the road to curing diseases, which is a very different model from traditional pharma.
Dude.
Cathie Wood, we very much appreciate talking to you, and I appreciate you taking those questions as well. So thank you.
Fuck you, Andrew.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
All right, let's get a final check on the markets as we
What a piece
are
of
about to hand things
trash.
over to Squawk on the Street. You're going to see some red arrows this morning with the Dow futures indicating
Yeah, I try to be a stoic, but I'd probably lay him
down
out.
by 185.
I'd be
Got the
stoic
S&P down by about
afterwards.
32, and the market for the week is indicated off. I mean, for the week we are looking at a down market.
What
if
a
you're looking
dick.
at treasuries, though, the yields have been
I
climbing.
want
and they
her just to
continue do so.
trounce
The
on
10-year this
him
morning
when
is at
her fund goes up a
4.45.
ton.
The 2-year is at 4.33. And again, it's been a bit of a whipsaw since the
All right, let's see how
election.
things are sitting here.
All right, that does it for us
we got
today.
23
we hope
minutes.
You have a great weekend. We will be right back here.
I'm going to mute it out here real quick. What a dick. God, that guy pissed me the fuck off. All right. Archie fund, incredibly low right now. I'm looking to add more to this. And I think I have some cash. I'm going to spend it today. I did do dip buying the other day. I probably bought too early, but I'm willing to buy more. Maybe I'll buy some ARCG today, just for Cathie Wood. If I were her, I would not give him another. I wouldn't either. I'd be like, sorry guys, I'm not coming back. That's what I would say. Imagine he finished with, and I hope your funds do better in the future. Well, ARC Innovation has a 10-year performance around 16%. So yeah. So here's the deal. When somebody, it's really easy for somebody like Andrew Dworkin to shit on Bitcoin at 15,000, to shit on Bitcoin at 3,000, to shit on ARCG when it's down immensely from overextended levels. It's really easy to do that, right? Like you can take a bubble and be like, oh, your stuff sucks because it's still down. But it's good. Again, this fund right here, incredibly speculative. When we're back in speculation mode, especially if we see, again, this relationship between, J.D. Vance and a bunch of these other people, if we see that the relationships and the people that are in the White House are helping push forward, and Vivek especially in this case, push forward legislation and deregulation that helps with these sectors and helps them compete against big pharma that wants to price them out, I think it's going to be amazing. How was the Ron Barron interview? It was good. I don't know if there was anything that was really notable out of it. It was a good interview, though. Dario will ask the Manny to knock him out. There you go. Let's do that. Actually, guys, I want to see Tyson knock him out. I don't know how many of you guys are watching the Tyson fight tonight, but I can't wait to see Mike Tyson lay out Jake Paul. I think that's what's coming. I don't know. I don't think Tyson doesn't throw fights for people. He is very much like a man of honor. I think he's going to lay him out. I so can't wait to watch it. John Jones versus Stipe Meiosis. I don't even know who that is. I don't know who that is. I don't know fights too well outside of this one. I'm not great with him. I used to watch UFC back in the day, but that's about it. 2 rounds, then good night. Yes, BD. That's exactly what's happening. What are the bets on Iron Mike knocking him out? They're low, I think. I don't really do the betting markets, but last I heard, I think Jake Paul is well in the lead. Paul's winning. Yeah, Paul's winning in a betting odd. I don't give a shit about that. He's still gonna get laid the fuck out. They call him Iron Mike Tyson for a reason, and I know he's old, and maybe Jake thinks that's why he's gonna win. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, he literally had a game called Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for a reason. Jake Paul's Glass Joe. Hell yeah, he is. It's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait for it. All right, let's take a look over here real quick. 8:10. We got 20 minutes until open. There's other stuff to talk about. JP Morgan CEO response to Trump. What? Jamie Dimon? Let me see where this starts. Oh, I got to hear this. Trump transition buzz. I don't care about them so much. I want to hear this. I want to hear what Jamie Dimon has to say.
I may have to just text Bob Iger and say, you know what, the pressure for the New Mexico theme park, it's over because you did the quarter.
Why not?
I don't think it. I mean, I doubt it, Ja Kingdom, because Mike Tyson is very much about like honor and say. I don't think he'd throw a fight for money. Plus, he's doing pretty good. He's got those Mike Tyson bites or whatever. Like they're in the shape of Evander Holyfield's ear. These little edible gummies or something. I think he's got I think he's doing all right for money. As long as he's doing all right for money, I don't think he would throw it. Because again, it's his entire legacy. It's everything he's worked for his entire life. I think he's a more honorable man than that.
Combine the two and have a oil drilling related ride. What do you think?
You get into
Mr.
a barrel.
Landman's wild ride.
Fun for the whole family.
It's a pipeline that you get in.
It's so,
for
I mean,
the
it's so
whole family.
great. Like the pipeline in Shawshank. Let's go.
Let's go.
Speaking of economic personnel, Jamie Dimon did speak yesterday at the APEC summit, talked about lower incomes groups across the world, how they've not kept pace, but also talked about the president's post that he will not be invited to join the administration. Here's what he said.
First of all, I wish the president well, and thank you. That's a very nice note. But I just want to tell the president also, I haven't had a boss for 25 years. I'm not about ready to start.
Some people joked about whether or not he does report to the board.
I was going to say the board cut. Is kind of a little slap at the board, David? Or is it like what Masa-san, what Jensen did to Masa-san, which is like, hey, you sold us, but I love you.
Oh, that was rough. Yeah, I guess
I probably won't live stream the
he
fight.
doesn't
I'll
have
just
one
watch
person, let's say, who sits above him and tells him what to do. Jamie Dimon never had any interest in joining the Trump administration.
No.
Period.
No, he would rather rebuild.
Of it.
He'd rather rebuild Queens, in his honor. I've got this big giant atlas thing
you got
out
some
there.
land in Queens now,
well,
too?
I went to the 1964 World's Fair.
You did. So did I. I was wheeled over there.
Here, I'm going to switch to live.
Zeitgeist.
I'm going to switch to live real quick, guys. I'm going to use the restroom and I'm going to grab some more coffee. Give me 1 second.
PC not that good. In other words, stay away. And I think that's wrong.
So you want to buy it here at the open?
Well, you can't buy it because there's huge accounts that want to go. I'd like to buy it at maybe 2 or 3 to see if they come in and reload. A lot of times, if you sell down 18, the people who you give the report to, they want it down 19 at the end of the day, so they mark it down 19. That's a common practice that we don't talk enough about on air.
What about Deutsche Bank's point yesterday that NVIDIA next week may not beat as much on revenue as they normally do? Average beat on revenue last 5 quarters, $2 billion.
I think that could be true. You're still dealing with the idea of a yield on Blackwell, their current generation. Yield being not all of them are done. You might make for every 1,000, maybe you have to throw away like 400. So the gross margin is not going to be what people want. I don't think there are going to be as many watch parties as there are for Saquon Barkley.
Whoa. What a performance. Was it the fourth quarter was where it was at?
No, you had to stay up, David. I'm sorry.
I stayed up until about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, but the game was over.
Can I just show you what it's like to be able to run through the Fugazis that are the Commanders?
Oh, I did see that, actually.
How about the second one? The second one was even better than the first one.
That one, the second one I didn't see. Yeah, I saw that.
He's unbelievable.
My favorite stat is he is leading the NFL in touches that end on the 1. And almost every one of those plays results in a Hurts TD.
Yeah, I know. That's why he has the most TDs. But I will say that that was a game that shows me that Thursday Night Football is really back. There's really been a lot of good Thursday Night Football. Remember, Amazon, they were always stuck with the Jags versus the Titans. Every week the Jags played the Titans. It's like what's playing on Thursday? The Jags play the Titans. You know?
Yeah.
But, yeah. Or the Jets play the Titans.
The chance of thank you Giants is ringing around.
Well, you know, when you have an owner who says, hey, Saquon, why don't you test the market? Well, the Howie Roseman is going to be all over that. You know Howie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Howie he's the general manager.
It's a good move. It was a good signing.
Yeah. Who has more of a Philadelphia accent, me or Alex Carr?
You.
Thank you. When
Mayor-
I'm in
Mayor of
Philadelphia,
Easttown,
well,
starring
when I'm
Jim
in
Cramer.
Philadelphia, I say, "Oh God, everyone sounds so horrible here."
We mentioned retail sales earlier. Industrial production's up next. Let's get to Rick Santelli. Hey, Rick.
Yes, industrial production, capacity utilization. These are October reads. On industrial production, we're expecting another down month, and it delivered -0.3%. That means we have -0.5 in the
Industrial
rearview mirror.
production?
That was what was 0.3 lower, was revised. So back to back, not looking terrific on industrial production. And I do want to point out we did have that big empire, so maybe there is some things bubbling under the surface, but it isn't showing up in this October data. Utilization rates, well, they were also lower, 77.1. Now, that does match expectations, but it's well below last month, which was...
One sec. I'm going to pause Rick so I can see it myself here. Let's go here. I should switch this to... Here, one sec. I'm going to switch this to today so I don't have to scroll so far. All right, industrial production, negative 0.3%. Okay, so that is in line, but negative. Let's see, that's just month over month. I hate that number. Capacity utilization, 77.1. Previous was 77.4. Forecast for 77.2, so a little bit lower than expected. Manufacturing production, year over year, negative 0.3, better than the -4. Or, yeah, 0.4 negative number. Let me see here real quick. We'll start at the bottom. So I don't know if there's too much signal in that. And again, we're kind of like in between presidents, but it doesn't look like any of it's horrible. It's kind of in line, right? Capacity utilization isn't horrible either. Let me see. What are we at? I mean, it could go up. Capacity, that could be better. That could be a better number. But yeah, I don't know if there's much signal. Let's see what he's got for revisions.
Was suddenly revised from 77.5 to 77.4. 77.1 actually would be the lightest rate of the year. 77.1 goes back to April of 21. April of 21. So
movement.
even though it's only...
I think the best thing we could do for the 4B movement, Silas, is just not have sex with these women. And I think that's better for everybody.
0.3 lower than the revised number.
Really yellow?
It's significantly put.
My screen above me has like an autumn thing, so I've got a nice little glow. It's kind of nice. Ooh, looks good on my cheeks.
Pushes back our comp, and it really does underscore some of the issues that we have in the production utilization, everything that's outside of or inside of manufacturing, mining. I'm sure these numbers may perk up a bit in the future, especially potentially under the next administration. The big news, dollar index at a one-year high. Interest rates, well, they're very close to unchanged on the day, whether you look at 2s or 10s. But when you look on the week, we're up 9 on a 2, we're up 15.15 on a 10, and Squawk on the Street will return after a short break.
I don't know if there's making any money off of that stupidity. I don't know, Silas. I don't know. I think they're going to have really sad lives if they're divorcing their husbands because they voted for Trump. Yeah. So you're asking about Tesla. Let's look at some charts. We haven't done a lot of charting lately. Let's jump in and look at some of these. And let's take a beat at the broader. So Tesla, I think this is a great mark for Tesla right now. I don't know what the options got to yesterday. It looks like I lost a decent amount of money on them. Not $250,000, but pretty close. So they were down a good chunk. I don't know exactly what that amount was, but I'm probably going to buy some more of them today. That's my thought process there. Either that or CleanSpark. I don't know. We'll see. I still have a decent chunk of Tesla, but I do think that this is a great zone to purchase Tesla right now. I think it's a good zone. If we go back though, we do have a little bit of a gap. Let's go over here. Let's look at where supports are though. That's probably going to be the most important thing. So let's go to the weekly. There's a lot of junk on here. Sorry, I got to clean all this up. It's like I need to have different charts for different purposes for Tesla because I have so much going on in it. But yeah, if we look over here, so let's get the volume. So we got a little bit of a volume pit over here down to 300. Or no, wait, no. When you include all volume, it changes significantly. Yeah, this is a buy zone. Yeah, totally. This is a buy zone. I mean, look at this. This is like, it could go down further. Again, we could still do 300, but there's just nothing but volume beneath us. So I'd say this is a buy zone. And then the real big thing is just getting above like the 360 mark and really 370. If we get above 370, there's nothing but net. It's just all, green, black price action, green price action, just a breakout once we get above 370. But I think this is a good buy zone. I don't know, though. Narratives can go back and forth. It depends on what the narratives are, right? If there's some weirdness and people are like, oh my God, Tesla's so bad because now they're going to get rid of the tax credit, and there's a bunch of really uneducated, wealthy investors that think that that's true and that they're not going to directly benefit from that in numerous different ways, then I don't know. It could go down to the 300. I think 300 is the floor. I think 300 is a really good floor. Even on the local time frame, I mean, look at this. Look at how much the volume starts to peak up. I would not expect for more. If you were looking for an opportunity to get into Tesla, this is it. I think this is it. Personally, that's my take. All right, let's look at others. What else you guys got? Sammy Lee 5 280.7 250s. Yeah, I just don't see it, man. I just don't see the 250s. You'd have to be. I mean, don't get me wrong. All things can happen, right? Probabilities can shift, but I would not be focused on hoping that you get 250 on Tesla. That's insane. Because if you look over here, again, the breakout zone from the inverse head and shoulders is right here at 260, right around there, right? So that's the neckline of this thing. So yeah, could we get to 250? I mean, shit, I can't ever say that things won't happen, but I wouldn't bet on that. I don't know. People who try to get the absolute bottom and absolute tops of things, I think they're foolish. You're just lowering your probability of being right. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what else we got. What else you guys want to look at? EV expansion is occurring. Dude, there's so much expansion and everything occurring. Tax credit removal hurts every car company except Tesla. Exactly. Because Tesla is going to sell no matter what. It's just the best EV in the industry. And again, I don't even know. I had this in one of the posts I did today. Maybe I didn't refresh. I probably need to refresh. Do you have to refresh bookmarks before you go into them? Probably. Let me look here real quick. So first off, I love this. For X, Comcast, Disney, and IBM are among advertisers returning to X. Remember the go fuck yourself to Bob Iger from Disney? He's going to advertise on X again. I think that says a lot, right? Oh, and here we go. Here, Ron Barron noted Tesla could reach $5 trillion in a decade without Optimus. I agree with that. Look at this. This is amazing. Watch this. This is without the version 13 that gets 6x better. Look at this Tesla maneuvering around the city.
Left turn here.
Just look at this.
All right. Pedestrian cross, and we're off. Got a double parked car on the side and another car on this other side. So let's see full self driving navigate through it slowly. Okay, it's waiting a little bit. No pedal press. Made it through. Try and move over to the left lane here.
Can you imagine a Waymo trying this shit?
All right, this time it proceeds forward. Okay, there's a cyclist.
It's just getting so better. Guys, I drove, what did I drive yesterday? Like 700 miles or something? Basically no issues. 99% full self-driving. I mean, it's to the point where it's like I'm going 80 miles an hour down the interstate and I'm watching bond and treasury-related videos with really complicated subject matter while my car drives me because it's just so easy. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still looking at the road because it's like right in front of me, down below on the dash. But it's amazing. These cars are amazing. Autonomy is here. It is here right now. I hope you realize that. Tesla Powerwall team hits new record. The future of energy independence is here. 1,000 Powerwalls built in a single day, guaranteeing reliable power during outages. A single day. Pair with solar to live off-grid and Starlink for wire-free home internet access. Look at this. This is EV registrations by brand in September. This is before these guys lose the tax credit and get utterly devastated. Tesla, by far, number one. Add up all the others, don't even come to a close number two. Blue Sky, this was something Jack Dorsey was a part of. CleanSpark earnings will suck. I don't care, though. It doesn't matter. Jack Dorsey distanced himself from Blue Sky, confirming in May that he had left the company's board months after he deleted his personal Blue Sky account. Dorsey instead praised X as freedom technology, seemingly urging users to stay on the platform. This is full self-driving without, I said full self-driving without supervision is much closer than people realize. This is Tesla Chan. Tesla expects that FSD, not autopilot, will be safer than people from the second quarter of October. You can see FSD is here, right? The full self-driving. This is the supervised version, not the Tesla autopilot. And it shows like Tesla autopilot use, Tesla not autopilot use, FSD, and then the U.S. average. The U.S. average is barely even noticeable down here for miles driven without an accident. If you look at that number, it's just like a flat line. And then Tesla autopilot not using, what does it mean? Tesla AP not using. I am a little confused by that metric. Oh, this is just the car without autopilot. And then this is the car with autopilot up here. And then it says FSD. So just like, again, in its infancy is lower right now, but it will be above this soon. And so it's very important to realize that FSD is going to be better than a human driver by the second quarter of 2025, which means that it can be everywhere. Also, this is astonishing to me, but just the number of superchargers and where they are, they weren't even in Canada a couple years ago, guys. And now look at it. It's just, Tesla's going to be everywhere. Everywhere for every reason. I hope you guys realize what's coming. Earnings will, Sammy Lee, earnings for CleanSpark are going to take a huge hit because of the hurricane. No, I mean, it'll just be period, right? Bitcoin was at 61,000 or 62,000 at the end of the quarter. So the earnings are going to suck because that's the price that their holdings were at. And again, they were just getting less in the way of earnings because of the value that the Bitcoin holds. That's going to completely change. We got 2 minutes until the bell. Thank you for that, by the way, Dylan. That's going to change completely because we're in the 90,000s now on Bitcoin. And so Q4 will be sick. That's what people should focus on. Or I'm sorry, 89,550. I don't care. We will be, and here's the thing, by the end of Q4, I think we could be in the 120,000 range. I think we could be up here. So if we've doubled the price of Bitcoin, earnings for Q4 will be sick for CleanSpark. And the market cares about the future, and that's what we should be focused on. Let's get over to the bell. And then we'll see how things start moving for the day. I think the data today was pretty good. I think that New York State Empire manufacturing index was amazing. I don't know if anybody's talking about it, but I think being the highest level in 3 years seems positive. Charleston, South Carolina has one EV charger, still rocking the V8 gasoline. Yeah, that's too bad. It'll get there, though. Here's the thing. You don't even need to rock the V8 gasoline, Paul, because literally I charge my car at my house every day, and I pay a third the price of what people would pay for gasoline. All right, let's get this going.
Quarter, and he's really terrific, and the stock was coming around. That's Domino's. I don't blame that.
Combustion engine cars can never have full self-driving. Like, could they have? Theoretically. Will they have? No. Who's going to gas them up? There's going to be a wireless pad for a Cybercab or my Cybertruck to be able to drive over. So the car could drive, it could park, it could charge itself, then it could take off and do more rides. Who the fuck is going to do that with a gas car? Who?
It's only up 5%, and Russell's really done a lot with the Ubers.
I just don't see the point. I don't even think Tesla would provide the service to gas cars. I don't think they would, but we'll see.
World, the DoorDash is working on these deals. Look, I think it's down a low point. Ulta, I happened to meet with
I sold 35,000 in TLT.
Long ago, and he did not know. You have tape on it. He did not know about Buffett being involved.
We're gonna speed it up since we're already kind of there. Bang, 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 bang.
What Buffett buys, it took a hit on Ulta. I mean, when I was at Ulta, you have to buy Ulta based on the fundamentals. So, but I happen to do a lot of work with
Check the watch list here.
Domino's, and I think Russell's got a plan to turn
Ooh,
it.
clean spark down. Oh no, this is probably
he's
updated.
lowered some
Is that
prices.
today?
He's giving you some good deals.
That's today. I'm
Russell
buying.
is, I think, banking on a very big
There we
turn,
go.
and
No,
so
it's
much.
updated.
Let's get the opening bell on the CNBC
RG,
Real-Time Exchange.
some of this hasn't
Looking forward,
updated
it's
yet.
Real Estate Investment Trust Vertiv. At the NASDAQ, it is the Hackett Group, a consulting firm focused on Gen AI and business transformation. Jim, as we are once again within 10 points of
DLO's back up.
5,900
Good.
this time.
Well, I mean, look, I think that I am
Somebody asked
always
about flux.
surprised.
I
There's
should
just
pull that up.
buyers. You know, we have these markets that are down horribly in the morning, okay, and then they just kind of percolate, but then they go down at the end of the day. And, you know, focusing on the NASDAQ, the overwhelming nature of this applied materials alleged shortfall in forecast, which I say alleged because if you say it's just China and that's government mandate, I really think
Uranium's
it's
down,
overdone.
Micron's
Lam
down,
Research
TLT,
came
TMF are
in-
down.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Lam Research had a
Microsoft,
similar
NVIDIA,
problem. And they took a $2 billion clip
SoFi,
from China
Hood,
last year.
TLT,
They had to.
RG, just
and
a
I
little
think
bit.
that the data
Tesla up
centers are alive
barely.
and well. I don't want people
I
to
don't know.
sell that.
Today's
And
probably
by the
gonna be
way,
a chop
the
day.
Real estate business, it's really Vertiv. It's Dave Cody. It's the data center one. We said it with real estate.
Today's going to be a chop day, guys. But what I love is just, again, the potential. Like, this is a great impulse. I guess technically it matches with December of 2021. Whatever, though. I mean, it's the highest level in 3 years, right? We're seeing the highest level on the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, the highest score on this index in 3 years. What does it say? I'm gonna let this play out. I want to hear what this has to say here. Let me do this.
The NY Empire State Manufacturing Index climbed to 31.2% in November 2024, up from minus 11.9 in October, and surprising analysts who expected it at 0.7. It was the best reading since December 2021, as the new orders index climbed 38 points to 28, and the shipments index rose 35 points to 32.5%, pointing to sharp increases in both orders and shipments.
I think that this is all related to what we're going to see, guys, from China. It's the fear of tariffs. This next quarter, we're going to see a ton of stuff trying to come in. I don't know. I don't know. I got to dig. I don't know
Unfilled orders fell modestly. The inventories index climbed to 1, signaling that inventories leveled off. The delivery times index moved up to 3.1, suggesting that delivery times were slightly longer, and the supply availability index came in at minus 4.1, a sign that supply availability worsened somewhat. Labor market conditions pointed to steady employment levels and a longer average work week. The pace of input and selling price increases remained modest and similar to last month. Looking forward, firms remained optimistic about the 6-month outlook.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, no, my thought didn't make any sense. Ignore the China comments at all. I don't actually know why this is doing so well. Again, it's a huge impulse. It's the strongest in 3 years. I need to understand why. I got to do more research on this. GameStop to the moon. GameStop is shit. Stephen Walther, today is OPEX, so probably big moves towards the end of the day. Mr. Monkey, after yesterday, options expiration. Sorry, guys. I should say that out loud. After yesterday, definitely no profit taking today for BTC-related stocks. Master the game. Okay. Prove a B. Red, green, flat, unsolicited take. Yeah. Daisy, sell off for taxes and moving into other funds for the next 4 years. Arcadian, Jesse, do you have any CLSK stock or is it all in calls? I do have some stock. I have longer. Somebody asked this earlier too. So I do have some accounts that are long-term investment accounts, and I have and so I buy and hold those for at least a year, so I pay a really low tax rate. Because then you can pay long-term capital gains if you withdraw from those, not an IRA or a Roth IRA, because Roth IRAs, you still have the penalty and then it counts as income tax. So preferably if you're having to withdraw early from those, first off, the order of operations normally should be, if you need money, should be you pull from long-term gains in a long-term account, not a retirement account. So if you need money, pull it from there. If you need cheap money and interest rates are really low, get an 18-month offer at 0%. Just don't buy it, use it to buy stupid shit. But if you needed to pay bills, you could do something like that with cheap debt. as long as you can repay it back. And this probably isn't good advice for like 95% of people because I don't know how good they are at doing that. But then it would be to pull from your investment accounts and do that. If you don't have any income, like me, you're retired, you have an investment account, you held the gains for a year. You have long-term capital gains to pay out. Let me see this. Capital. I should show you this. Capital gains tax calculator. I don't know that I did a good job explaining this the other day, but so you would NerdWallet does a pretty good job. So you could pull out capital gains from here, from a long-term account, not an IRA or Roth IRA, and in 2024, if you were married and filing jointly, the first $94,000 you pulled out, where you had long-term capital gains, you would have paid 0% on them. So you wouldn't have paid any tax whatsoever, and you could have pulled out almost 6 figures worth of money. Then from $94,000 all the way up to $583,000, married and filing jointly, you pay a 15% rate. So let's say that you actually withdrew like $200,000 to pay your bills out of your long-term account, you would have paid an average effective tax rate of about 7-8%, right? Because this first block would have been 0% and this next block would have been 15%. So if you have long-term accounts, like these are the ones you pull from preferably, where you have the lowest amount of tax. Then if you needed to pull out more and you ran out of this, you could pull from like an IRA. I wouldn't do the Roth IRA because that's after tax obligations. So you don't have to pay any tax at the end of retirement for those. That's the one you save for like ever, right? But you could pull from an IRA, which again is going to be taxed at the end anyway. You'd have a 10% penalty. Again, preferably you're taking a minimal amount of whatever you have to do because that's going to be income tax that's associated with those gains, along with that 10% penalty. But if you need money, that's kind of the order of operations. Borrow cheap money, as long as you can pay it back, and then otherwise withdraw from long-term capital gains, where you could potentially pull out $94,000 in a year and live off of it if you didn't have any income, and still pay no taxes at all. You could pull, that's a good point too, Value Maxi. Thank you for that. There's so much with taxes, and this is just the United States. Again, do all your research, guys. Roth IRAs, you can withdraw the original contribution. So you can't get the stuff that's made you a bunch of money, but let's say like you put $100,000 into your Roth IRAs over the years, you could pull that tax-free as well. So there's ways to do it where you're paying very, very little in the way of tax, and it treats you really well. All right, so Palantir up again today. That NASDAQ news is probably really good, and pulling it higher. Oh, yeah, it's right up at the top, 6.59%. So good job for everybody who owns Palantir. For everybody I mentioned getting out earlier because of technicals, you're learning a valuable lesson. Technicals don't apply. The fundamentals do. And if the fundamentals continue to do well, the technicals can be wrong. That's just the way it works. So good job, 6308. Again, the next fib extension level on this one's 80. Let's look at other stocks if anybody wants to pull something up. Exactly. Daisy said exactly. I use my regular investment account as my savings, QQQ, FTAC, FBG, RX, and other stocks. I save in those like I would a savings account. Over the years, it has built up, and if I need money, it's like 15 to 20% tax because of long-term gains. Yeah, and again, if you don't take out a lot, then you get even more. And that doesn't count towards income, does it? It says 0%. The following rates apply for long-term capital gains sold in 2024. If your taxable income exceeds those amounts, that's the stipulation. So if you're retired like I am, and you don't have taxable gains, well, now I'm going to have income because you guys have blown me up on social media. But before, when I didn't have any income, since I didn't have income, I didn't have to pay tax at all. So that's the key part. It's just the retirement part that matters. Let me see here. Technical are used to time entry and exit per trade based upon fundamental analysis. Yeah, exactly. Fundamentals and financials mean way more. So does macro. CRM, Salesforce, 2-year cup and handle just broke out. Cool. Chuck, I love my 1,500 Palantir, I'm assuming tier shares. Don't sell them before $500 per share. It's a long time horizon. Good luck with that. Joe Barassis, could Trump lower capital gains taxes? Yes. Yeah, I think so. It would be a great way to stimulate the economy because you'd have You'd have rich people that would be willing to cash out some investments. But at the same time, I don't think he's going to. Because if you lower, he could do it. Does he have an incentive to do it? I don't think so. Because if you lower the capital gains taxes, then you're more likely to have people that are selling out. And I don't know that you'd want that. Would you? I don't think so. I don't think you want people selling out of the stock market. He loves the stock market. He wants to keep people in. Proven B, open account in your broke, jobless 9-year-old's son's name. Daisy, no income, usually 15%, but since we make too much, it's about 20. Yeah. Yeah, but if you have a long-term capital gains, married filing jointly, at least with 2024, if you didn't have any income at all, it was 0% up to $94,000. And then for 2025, that's $96,700 is 0%. So again, you can get all the way up to $600,000 in 2025, guys, at 15%. And again, the first little less than $100,000 is 0%. So if you didn't have income, if you don't have income and you're retired and you're having to cash things out, especially if you've reached your retirement age, it treats you pretty good, especially if you have a diversification between long-term accounts, Roth and IRAs, and maybe a SEP. Bacon, don't declare Bitcoin. You don't need to, as it's not a security. It's now foreign currency, has a use case. I would always, I don't know. I'm never going to fuck with the IRS. I would never fuck with the IRS. P.S. What do you think about FNMA and FACC? Seems like Trump will release it from conservatorship and stock will go up much higher, 5 to 10x. That's retirement money for me. I'm 36 now. When I sell now, I have to pay 26% tax. I can't stomach giving so much. Yeah, totally. The longer you wait, or if you need money, you nibble off the smallest amount that you can from your investment accounts because you want that to compound. Because even if the tax rates are higher in the future, when you're compounding and you're just nibbling off, you're not taking away a large amount from that stack that can grow at a much higher multiple. That's why I've been so patient. My house that I live in right now is $102,000, and that's what I bought it for, over 15 years ago. And it's 2,700 square feet. I fixed it up, but I haven't even bought a new house yet because again, it's like $5 million isn't enough. I want 20 to 30 million. And then when I buy a $2 million house, especially if I get a loan over a prolonged period of time, I'm barely nibbling off from my investments. So I'm all about just growing that stack. Did you see Saylor saying 100,000 by end of year? Yeah, we watched this video. I'm 100% in agreement with him about that. Let me look. They're talking about Lamb Research over here. Ooh, that's down today too, huh? Let's see. How are we doing today? Let me go back. Cypher up, Palantir up almost 7%, Bonk up 6%, MSTX still holding on to 5 almost. Atom up, VIX is up today, so the market's still trying to go lower. Say's up, cryptos are actually getting a little bounce today. Bitfarms up 1%, 1.37. Cypher up 1%, Argentina up 1%. Silver up a little bit. Yeah, market's just chopping. Tesla up 0.5. Some things that got really crucified yesterday are bouncing. But otherwise, it's definitely not risk on right now, I wouldn't say. SoFi down 2.31. DLO down. Flux down. I do think Flux is trying to find a bottom. We'll see if it can make it. Alibaba is down 3.22. What is that about? So that's taking a dump. But again, that's just going to suck. Don't buy China. HIM's getting hit again today. Is it really? Jesse, what state are I'm in the Midwest. I don't give away my specific location anymore because I had I don't know. I had people stalking me on Facebook telling my wife that I was scamming people online a year and a half ago. And then he's like, but if he's not, disregard this. And my wife is like, I'm a little creeped out by this. And so I keep my profile much lower now. Tom Nash, his name isn't Tom Nash. James Invest Answers, there's probably a reason he doesn't give you his last name. I don't think James will tell you where he lives either. I just think it's safer that way because there's all kinds of fucking weirdos out there that are insane. Platinum 4, Jesse, sorry if this has been asked. I know you own altcoins and crypto. Do you have all those assets in one place? I have a lot of them in one place. I have them between Robinhood and Coinbase. I have most of it in Coinbase. Solana is the biggest stack. But I do have others, though, sitting in other accounts. Robinhood, I have a decent chunk, too. So I do have, but most of it's in Coinbase. All right, let me see. It's gotten to HIMS. Yeah, how is HIMS doing today? It's getting smoked, too. Let me go over here. What do we got? Let's go here. Tesla up 1%. I mean, it should be. Let me go over here and look at HIMS. Ooh, ouch. That is painful. That's actually not a super great sign. Unless it impulses and we could get back up here soon. We want to get it back above like 21 for sure. Because otherwise that's getting slammed really hard. And that's a huge wick. Hopefully this is just a short term and it starts getting back up to here. And then if it gets back up to 25, then it's like, oh, okay, we're probably actually still going higher. But again, I've kind of pointed this out down below. If you look at HIMS, look at the bearish divergence that's been started on here. At least going back to here. What time frame is that? December of 2024. No, that's not right. What am I looking at? This thing is in the way. Let me move this. March of 2024. So you got this bearish divergence trying to pull down on the RSI. You got that same kind of thing happening over here too. Bearish divergence and convergence. So it wants to pull it down, but can the fundamentals keep it up? I don't know. HIMS just had Amazon enter their business. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, that would suck. But that's not recent though, right? That's not like news today, right, Chris? I think they've been talking about doing that for a bit, haven't they? HIMS drops came from off of news from Amazon saying that I thought they were getting into telehealth a while ago. Is that new news? I thought I heard that a bit. Yeah, that's old news. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's been around for a while. But again, maybe that turns into something real over time. Oh, let's see here. 8:47, market's open. Kind of a boring day today. Maybe I should buy something. Let me look over here. I'm gonna pull up the latest on CNBC. Let them yap for a little bit. Who is this old guy? He's tall.
Because there's a digital to quantum
Why is he just standing here in between them?
transformation that has to happen.
You're one of the few people. Jensen Wong's thinking about that. You're thinking about that. Honeywell was thinking about it.
But when it comes to building data centers,
B of A
there's two
downgraded
big
them.
issues where you talk to anybody building data centers. One is
What am I
permitting.
buying today?
The second is
This is
power.
out. Right.
And this is one of the things I'm quite encouraged by the Trump administration currently, because their deregulation
RG's
push
down.
is essential on the permitting side.
I'm going to buy for Cathie
And you're
Wood.
going to see the same kind of push on the power side with two aspects. One is permitting again, but the second is going to be just generating more power. Because
And Dave-
it's not going to be just nuclear. We need a lot more power.
I was going to say that there's some stories on the tape this morning just sort of framing it as a showdown between the nuclear lobby and the nat gas lobby. Is it that simple?
Wow.
I don't think this is so much a
Tesla's already up 2.5% on the day. This is what I was saying about Tesla, guys. Like, I wouldn't try and bottom feed Tesla. And who knows? Maybe we go down further, but I don't think it's a good idea. Value Maxi high. Yeah, I need some solidarity behind Cathie today after Sorkin. Oh, he's such a dick. Such a dipshit. Yeah, this could be a good bottoming zone. I'd like to see us really get above like 320, 325 at least, 326, right above there. That would be better. Full Moon Energy, Clean Spark looking juicy. Do you see RFK nominee as a... yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means. Woo Sprain, Bruce Wayne. RFK being the new nominee. Like, I think he's going to get appointed. And I don't know what it means for HIMS, though. I don't know the business model well enough to be able to tell you what it means. One to keep an eye on in the future is Granny. Oh, Tom Lee's Granny. Yeah, you know what? I should add that to my list. We should definitely get that in the Discord too. I got a whole slew of them to add in the Discord. Let me pop this in here real quick. Granny. Let's save this real quick and make a copy. I have a lot of faith in Tom Lee. I think he's a great investor. Is this it? Yeah, oh, no, it is. Okay. Wow, and it's really gapped down. 332 million. And so this thing, when did it go live? November 7th. It got as high as 21, then down to 20. Oh, so this isn't even much of a price difference. Yeah, this will be a thing that's probably good to track. I will save it. Love TSLL, moves quick. Tom Lee is a G. Yeah, he's great. Tom Lee is really great. Got to see what he has. Let's see. I'm going to check the earnings report real quick and see what that's looking like. I gotta look at their latest info. I missed a bunch of that yesterday. All right, let's go over here. I don't know. Today's seeming kind of boring, guys. I don't feel like there's a lot of news.
Showdown, you're going to have to do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And even if you're trying to build the small modular reactors, that's 5 or 6 years before that happens.
I know, 2030.
Like mustard and Memphis, got to get the natural gas in there right away if you want.
So let's listen to that. I want people to hear this. I want people to hear this real quick. People that are so excited about nuclear energy, listen to what this man's saying.
Showdown between the nuclear lobby and the nat gas lobby. Is it that simple?
I don't think this is so much a showdown. You're going to have to do all of this stuff. Yeah. And even if you're trying to...
I'm sorry, what was that? We can't bake an emoji. No quantum RAM or storage. We can't read, write, or save anything. Only observe. I don't know what you mean, Bacon. What are you talking about?
Build the small modular reactors. That's fine.
Does anybody know if the image on Discord for today's trades... No, you can't do anything in there. Yeah, so I deliberately don't let anybody put comments in today's trades because I want it to be clean and I want you guys to see what I'm putting out for trades. If I let people comment on it, it would be a clusterfuck and it wouldn't be an easy place for to see it.
5 or 6 years before that happens.
I know, 2030.
Like mustard and Memphis, got to get the natural gas in there right away if you want power.
Yeah, and we do need power. We've underinvested in the grid for decades.
Right.
And this is something that has to go post-haste, in my view, if we're going to support the digital transformation.
There you go, David.
All right.
That's very
What an
cool.
unexpected pleasure.
AI is
totally
real.
unexpected
AI
pleasure.
is real.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
David.
Yeah.
Always nice
Good to see
Not
you.
everybody would be brave
Thank
enough
you.
to do this.
Appreciate it.
Nice.
I think I missed the comment. I want you guys to hear this comment. 1 second.
The second is power.
Right.
And this is one of the things I'm quite encouraged by the Trump administration currently, because their deregulation push is essential on the permitting side. And you're going to see the same kind of push on the power side with two aspects. One is permitting again, but the second is going to be just generating more power. And it's not going to be just nuclear. We need a lot more power.
I was going to say that there's some stories on the tape this morning just sort of framing it as a showdown between the nuclear lobby and the nat gas lobby. Is it that simple?
I don't think this is so much a showdown. You're going to have to do all of this stuff. Yeah. And even if you're trying to build the small modular reactors, that's 5 or 6 years before that happens.
I know, 20.
So, yeah. So, even if you're... So, first off, a lot of these small nuclear reactors aren't really tried and true yet. But, again, what he's saying is 5 to 6 years for those things to ramp up. So, could they be in high demand in the future? Yes. Is there tons of hype around nuclear right now that maybe not be relevant unless we have a war and everybody's ramping up nuclear weapons? Yes, I think there's a lot of hype in the nuclear space right now because, again, the demand for the uranium and the revenues for these nuclear stocks, they're just not going to go up overnight. It just doesn't work that way. So I think he's 100% spot on about this, and people need to be listening to it. There's too much hype in quantum computing, too much hype in nuclear energy. There's going to be a lot of energy companies that can move a lot quicker to produce energy over the short term. And gas, solar, wind, all these other things can help battery storage. Huge part of it, Sealess. Also, 10 plus years for grid level battery storage. Yeah, I totally agree. Again, they're producing what? What did they say? Did they do how many power walls did they do in a day at Tesla over here? It's a great number. 1,000 power walls built in a single day. That's a great number, but we need so many orders of magnitude more than that. And again, the mega packs and all these other things, the more commercial versions of these things are great too. But there's a lot of growth that needs to happen across the energy sector. Let's see. I'm going to take one more look. I think I'm going to be done here soon, guys. There's just isn't much to talk about. I might do a session over the weekend, just getting ready for Monday. So I might do something Sunday again, like that weekend edition of the market recap. I might actually do that. Not doing one today, just because I want to enjoy the rest of the day. I want to see this fight. I want to have some fun. So that's going to be the focus. And again, just learning. I've got a lot of stuff I want to think about in regard to bonds, treasuries, and what the federal government's going to be doing and what things are going to look like for directionality over the next, 3, 6, 9, and 12 months, because I think it's going to be some of the most exciting times in history to be invested in markets. I really do. I'm so much more optimistic now that Trump is in office. And it's not just a political bias thing. It's just literally doing the weightings of what a pro-growth government looks like and a more efficient government that's getting rid of waste and spending. It's going to be insane what Elon Musk can accomplish in the next 2 years, and I don't think people understand it. But he's not waiting. Again, they said 530 days for you to be able to do what you got to do, Elon, at Doge. He said, we're going to do it way quicker. So if you don't think that's happening in less than 2 years, you're confused. It's coming. And the narrative's going to change. I don't know what it's going to be over the next couple of months, but it's going to be substantially different over the next 6 months and a year. What do people think of sodium salt batteries? Anybody tried one for ICE vehicles? I don't know. If it gets into mass production and Tesla believes in it, then I'll probably like it. Young investor, there will be a major nuclear renaissance, but its timing is a bit tough. Yeah, maybe. I mean, there is this nuclear renaissance. It's in the fucking sky. It's called the sun. I'm just going to revert back to Elon Musk's messaging on that, right? We already have the biggest nuclear reactor in our solar system sitting up there, generating infinite amount of power for us every day, and all we have to do is capture it. And it doesn't require nuclear reactors that melt down, the old school stuff. It doesn't even require small ones. It doesn't require easy targets that can be hit. And then if there's solar, especially really efficient solar, which will only continue to come down in price on everybody's rooftops, then if somebody drops a bomb in one part of the city, normally they would be able to take out the entire electrical grid, right? And they could cause a lot of havoc and make it to where people don't have power and can't communicate. But if one fucking person still has power on or solar on their roof, they're going to have that. So just the redundancy for power is so much better. And during natural disasters, I mean, think about it. If everybody's their own power source, anything that doesn't get destroyed still would have power. Not that we're not going to be using, small nuclear reactors too in the future. I'm sure we will. But it's like we have this huge nuclear reactor in the sky, and the prices are getting better and better all the time. Solar is not EMP proof, is it? There's not a lot of things that are EM proof at all. So none of your shit would work from an EMP, right? None of it would. Yeah, it'll fry everything. It'll fry everything. You don't have to worry about your solar in that case, because you literally wouldn't have any electrical devices working at all. Congrats. But again, it's not that we're going to diversify. I'm just saying we literally have a giant nuclear reactor in the sky that can power everything. If we're talking about EMP pulses and again, everything being broken, Faraday bag solves that. Yeah, we'll just put ourselves in a Faraday bag. It'll be great. But again, yeah, there's all different forms of technology. Nuclear isn't coming tomorrow. Like you said, it's a 5 to 6 year ramp. So if you guys are betting on that and you think you're going to make a shit ton of money on companies that aren't even making revenue for 5 to 6 years, good luck with that. I think you're just going to suffer a lot of share dilution. All right, anyway, I'm done, I think, for the day. Tesla's up 2%. Today could be a bouncy day. It might be a sideways day. I don't really give a shit. I'll probably buy something. I'll post it on X and Discord when I do. I'm probably just going to let things sit for a little bit and see what I want to purchase. I might do some ArcG no matter what, just to support Cathie. But anyway, I love you guys. Take it easy. I do have a song. I'm going to add this to my roster. Not really applicable for today. It will be in the future. So we're going to go ahead and play it right now. So we're going to go out on this one. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Attention.